6 years after Stephanie stole my millionaire fiancé, I found myself at our mother's funeral, clutching sorrow in one hand and a secret in the other. As she swept into the room, smug smile, diamond ring flashing, she leaned in and whispered, "Poor you, still alone." I only smiled back, turned to my husband and said, "Have you met Zachary Foster?" The same Zachary Foster whose investments bankrupted her beloved Reynolds empire. The triumph on her face froze in an instant, and in that moment I knew real victory tastes nothing like revenge. My name is Rebecca Wilson. At 38, I found myself standing at my mother's funeral, dreading the moment my sister Stephanie would arrive. 6 years had passed since she stole Nathan, my self-made millionaire fiancé, the man I was planning to marry, and I hadn't seen either of them since. When they walked in together, Stephanie flashing her diamond ring with that smug smile, I felt a calm I never expected. She had no idea who was waiting to meet her. My mother, Eleanor, was always the glue that held our family together. Growing up in a modest suburban home outside Boston, she taught me strength and dignity. Even after I moved into my own downtown apartment and built a career as a marketing executive, I called her almost every day. She was my confidant, my advisor, my biggest cheerleader. When she was diagnosed with stage IV pancreatic cancer 8 months ago, time felt horribly limited. Despite aggressive treatments, she faced her illness with remarkable grace, more concerned about her family than her own suffering. In her final weeks, surrounded by loved ones in the home where she'd raised us, she slipped away holding my hand and made me promise to find peace in my life. 6 years earlier, at 32, my life had seemed perfect on paper. A thriving career, close friends, and a beautiful apartment. Yet something was missing. I worked 60-hour weeks and dated occasionally, but nothing serious stuck. Until I met Nathan Reynolds at a charity gala through my college friend Allison. Nathan, 36, was charismatic, confident, and self-made. A tech millionaire. With glossy magazine features to prove it, he shared my love of art, travel, and big ambitions. After our first date overlooking the harbor, I called my mother breathless. "I've met someone special." Our whirlwind romance included weekend trips to Martha's Vineyard, symphony performances, and intimate dinners. After 18 months, during a private yacht dinner in Boston Harbor, he proposed with a 5-carat diamond ring. I said yes, without hesitation. Even my mother insisted we spare no expense on the wedding. My younger sister Stephanie, 2 years my junior, had always competed with me. Yet I chose her as my maid of honor, believing we'd left childhood rivalries behind. When I introduced them at a family dinner, Stephanie's compliments to Nathan and her lingering touches struck me as merely her usual charm. I wanted to trust her. At our engagement party in my parents' backyard, I noticed Stephanie watching. Nathan across the room. When our eyes met, she raised her glass and smiled. "She's just being friendly," I told my mother later, dismissing her concern. 3 months before the wedding, Nathan's behavior shifted. He worked late, answered texts at odd hours, and criticized things he once adored about me. My laugh, my favorite blue dress, even my bedtime reading light. Meanwhile, Stephanie offered to attend vendor meetings for me, saying she wanted to help. One evening at a downtown Italian restaurant, Nathan's phone buzzed 5 times. Frustrated, I asked, "Is there something more important happening elsewhere?" He muttered about work, but his distracted gaze told another story. Then came the damning clues. Unfamiliar perfume on his collar. An earring wedged under his car seat that belonged to Stephanie. Matching explanations from both of them about a ride to the florist. I spiraled into anxiety, therapy, and sleepless nights. 3 weeks before the wedding, Nathan suggested postponement. "Maybe we're rushing things." I begged him to tell me what was wrong. That night, at 3 a.m., I heard him whisper to someone in the guest bedroom, "Not now. Soon. I promise." The next day, determined for answers, I surprised him at his office with lunch. His secretary, Margot, tried to block me, but I pushed into his office and saw Nathan and Stephanie locked in a passionate kiss. Their shock was nothing compared to mine. "Rebecca," Nathan stammered, "this isn't what it looks like." "It looks exactly like it is," I replied, voice steady. He and Stephanie tried the usual excuses. It just happened. But the lie shattered on impact. I walked out, dignity intact, though my heart lay in pieces. My parents rushed to my side. Father raged. Mother apologized to me for choosing Stephanie as maid of honor. We canceled the wedding, returned the ring, and watched Stephanie move into Nathan's apartment. Their betrayal cut deeper than I'd imagined. Boston's social circles buzzed with scandal. Some friends sided with me, others with Nathan for business reasons. Their cowardice stung almost as much as the affair. My therapist diagnosed me with depression. Work suffered. I needed a fresh start. When a marketing director position opened in my company's Chicago branch, I applied immediately. 2 weeks. Later, I packed my life into boxes while Mother reminded me, forgiveness isn't about them deserving it. It's about freeing yourself. I promised to call often, even as I fled the ghosts of my old life. Chicago was lonely at first. Studio, apartment, takeout dinners, long days at work. But my competence earned me respect and new friends. I met Madison Reynolds in HR. Then, at a tech conference in San Francisco, I sat next to Zachary Foster, a calm, genuine investor. Unlike Nathan's flash, Zachary's quiet strength drew me. In over months of professional lunches, he asked me out. A panic attack on our date nearly ended it, but his kindness won me over. He shared his own heartbreak. His wife left him for a business partner, and promised to respect my pace. We built our relationship on trust, friendship, and unwavering support. 2 years later, we married in an intimate Chicago ceremony. I invited Stephanie out of courtesy. She declined. The wedding was a testament to authentic love and mutual respect, so different from my past. My career flourished and Zachary's firm succeeded. When a venture capitalist at dinner casually mentioned that Nathan Reynolds once backed a losing startup against Foster's winning pick, we smiled at the small world. I told Zachary about my past engagement. He said quietly, "I wanted to know you for you, not your history." Trying for a child led us through fertility struggles. Then came Mother's cancer recurrence. We flew to Boston. I cared for her until her peaceful passing. On her deathbed, she urged me to reconcile with Stephanie, her final wish. At the funeral, Stephanie and I stood side by side, awkward but united in grief. She apologized, admitting her marriage was a facade built on Nathan's crumbling finances and control issues. She confessed shame and fear, and that she'd secretly consulted a lawyer to divorce when the time was right. As we sifted through Mother's things, we found her journal full of hopes we'd reconcile. We began to heal, not instantly, but a fragile bridge was built. I returned to Chicago, and 6 months later discovered I was pregnant. Though tears welled for the grandmother who'd never meet her grandchild, I felt Mother's presence in quiet moments. Stephanie and I kept cautious contact. She rebuilt her life modestly, facing Boston's judgment. I realized betrayal had pushed me to a high, richer, more authentic life. Now, in our nursery painted soft green by Zachary's hand, I reflect on all I've learned. How endings can become beginnings, how forgiveness frees the forgiver, and how deepest wounds can lead to unexpected blessings. Have you ever faced a painful loss that led you to something better? Share your story below, and if you found hope in unexpected places, please subscribe and let others know they're not alone.